Hey everyone, it's Marcia Baker. Welcome to Sketchnote Boss. Welcome to day 4 of our challenge. I love what I'm seeing. Saw Sandra practicing some numbers today, Sandra Thompson in the Facebook group. Let's see, just looking to see if anything else happens. But just really, really awesome stuff. Um, I love that you're practicing and trying and practice makes better. Just keep that in mind. Practice makes better. So, all right. And I don't know why this is not. There we go. Um, all right. And then, oh my gosh, Sketch Note Boss, Jenny Arbuckle. Okay. She's got the bug. Oh, this is for tick. Oh my gosh. And God made everything that creeps on the ground. Oh my gosh, you should look at her feed. I will have to see if I can get that over there. That is so creative. All right, let me just see if I can swing that over there without, and just see if I can. Is that not the most creative thing ever? Oh my gosh, look at that. I mean, that's like gold star stuff. Like Julie Arbuckle. Oh my gosh, that's just. Yeah, so my tick was um, right there. There's my tick. I just ticked off things. And today was a loop. So loop was hard. In fact, I just found this great site called knowingjesus.com, and it's got a great, basically it searches, just put in a word and it will search all the uh, translations, right? So loops, and this is the only one that came up with loops. So, and thou shalt make loops of blue upon the edge of curtains for Exodus 26:4. So there's my loops and there's my blue curtains. So anyway, thanks so much for being here at 3 o'clock. And so Janelle, welcome. Hey, Joan, welcome. So yeah, let me know if you're here. I'd love to say hi. Uh, So I told you yesterday that we're going to have breakfast with my son this morning because he was just in town for a little time. But, things never happen the way that you plan. You try and plan. We are not a planning family, right? And like, hey, Carolyn. So, so we're not a planning family. So I got to spend some time with my son this morning, which was lovely. But it turns out that they're all going to go have dinner tonight, but I can't go because I have a tutoring session that I cannot change. So I'm going to miss dinner with my son, but hopefully I get to see him a little bit more this evening. But I just learned a long time ago I had to be flexible. So this is how we roll. Hello, Tina from South Carolina. So I have a story about South Carolina. So it's been several years ago, but this is just the epitome of how we roll. And I learned to accept this a long time ago. Otherwise, I would have just been really frustrated. But so we were going to go to Charleston and do the Fort Sumter and just, do all the things that one does in Charleston. Hey, Dawn from Michigan. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Anyway, so all right, so we were going to go to South Carolina, and then we were going to go see some friends of his, where he stayed with when he was in the Navy in North Carolina. So we're going to go to North Carolina and then go spend 3 or 4 days in South Carolina. The day before we leave, he says, "I think we should go via Gettysburg." Now, okay, you may not have a map in front of you, but Pennsylvania is not on the way to South Carolina. It's just not. For if you're living in St. Louis, it's just not. So, so I could have got really upset, but no, like, okay, fine, let's just go. And I've got 3 boys, so they're all very much into the Civil War. My husband's favorite movie is Gettysburg. So, and interestingly enough, not even planned, we actually showed up on the day the battle started, however, X many years ago. Yeah. And, so we spent a day, or maybe I think a good day there, and then we drove to North Carolina. And then, not being a beach person, the kids and I all played on the beach in North Carolina and got ourselves so sunburned we were miserable, and we ended up coming home early, and we never made it to Fort Sumter. So it's still on my list. But anyway, so that's how we roll. Like, let's go to Florida. Oh, but let's drive to Alaska first. I mean, that's just how we roll. So, and again, I could get really upset about it. Anyway, so sorry to miss my the sun. That was all to tell you that my plans never work out like I planned. Oh, and here I'm not even me. Let's go back to me. Sorry. Anyway, my plans work out. Never work out, but it's really okay. Anyway, I got to spend some time with my son, and then they all get together, so it's good because my son hasn't been home and his brothers haven't seen him, so they're all very excited to be able to just spend a little time with him tonight. So it's all good. It's all good, and this son who lives very close to Lorraine, like she lives like less than an hour away from my son, um, will be home permanently in December. So I'm very excited about that. So he's been on the road for 5 years, and he decided it's time to get off the road. So all right. So all right. So yeah, Joan says you can. Yes, I know. Absolutely, I know you can get to South Carolina via Pennsylvania. It's just not a direct route. But anyway, so all right, let's get started. And let's see, what do we got to talk about today? So today is day 4, and our our workbook says we're going to talk about arrows. So yes, let's talk about arrows. So I am going to flip over. Oh, and the other thing that I did, look, you still get to see me. When you look at my overhead. So I found this great statistic that when we hear things, we only retain 10%. And when we read things, we only retain 20%. But when we see things, we retain 55%. And we actually see things 60,000 times faster than if our brains have to stop and decode and read. So that's why visual faith and visual note taking is so effective. So I just thought I would share that little tidbit with you. So we're going to do 2 things today. We're going to, yeah, maybe over here instead of there. I don't know how this double thing works. We'll have to see. Um, but we're going to work on arrows, and then we're going to work on the 7 elements of drawings. We're going to start um, feeling a little more comfortable with those, because I said just draw icons, and you're like, yeah, okay. But I'm going to help you kind of put it all together. So there's 7 little elements, and I promise you can draw each one of those. And so there's my doodle book. So here's some arrows, and arrows are just so helpful for your eye to go. We're going from here to here to here to here. So arrows are really a great tool to use to have, as in your sketchnote toolbox. Arrows are great, and they're very easy to draw. And obviously, you can get really crazy with them. You can put a pattern in them. You can just do any number of things, and you can be very creative. But and again, what I would do was maybe, especially if they're telling a story or he's making the next point, I'm going to stop and draw something a little more um, involved, right? But if it's like I'm in a hurry, boop, I'm just doing this arrow, boop, and I'm done, right? But if we're pushing, got several points to make, then these signposts are great. So here's some examples. Before we actually start, I want to show you some real examples. So this one, so I related this book that in Miracles in America, talk about related to Ralph Waldo Emerson, and then George Washington related to a note. That probably actually should be a call out box, but anyway. And then this got related to that verse. So there's that. And then this is, get rid of this a little bit. So I used a lot of arrows here. So, and we'll talk about backgrounds. Backgrounds doesn't that really pop a little bit? Yeah, I don't know. So, or is it just me? I like this one a lot. But I just think backgrounds can make it pop, and we'll actually talk about backgrounds on the last day. I don't want to get distracted, but so obviously this verse was kind of pivotal to talk about several points. So basically 1, 2, 3 points. It talked about 4 points, and I just use arrows to direct the path. And then again, you see I kept my color palette. I always use yellow for the for the verses, but then I just kind of use this orange and this kind of a gray blue. And again, I'm using arrows over here. So you can kind of see the tell like this goes here, and then we're going here, just to help your eyes feel like, where am I supposed to go next? So there's one example. All right, and then, so here's another example of some arrows. So this one, I just follow the leader. I thought arrows would just be great right there just to use as a, uh, you know, an underline. And then, I'm just using arrows here to, as you are going, make disciples. And then make a list. So I've got an idea of a list. I'm relating the list to this here. And then, so, um, and then I made just a big arrow and actually wrote in. So I wrote the word and then made an arrow out and to connect it to this piece of information here. So what else? Oh, this one, again, I just decided to, okay, so we had some information here, and then we had to relate it. So I just made an arrow out of it to relate it to the verses that we were going to talk about there. So, oops, there we go. You can kind of see the whole thing now. So anyway, you can just use arrows are really helpful, in my opinion, to just really see. Oh, there's that arrow, right? Everywhere we go, be ready to bless others. And so I just thought, I could have done a path, but I just decided to just use arrows for that. So I use arrows a lot. Probably there isn't too many sermon notes I draw that don't have arrows. So arrows are just a great, great tool. So, all right. So anyway, so let's draw some arrows. So let me clear my space. And then we're just going to put that there. And there we go. I'm going to use a bolder pen, right? So just the basic arrow. So I'm going to make sure I draw so you can see. So yeah, I don't know how the whole picture, you know what? I'm just going to flip over to the whole picture so you can kind of see the whole thing. So you can kind of see some of this and some of that all together. There we go. I think that works. Right. So just a simple arrow. All right. We're just basically drawing a rectangle. So I'm going to draw a rectangle, right? And then I'm going to go draw two perpendicular lines. And then I'm going to try and find the middle of that. And then I'm just going to connect my lines. And I've got an arrow. So that's one way to draw an arrow. A lot of times I will, if I've got some information here and I want to relate it there, I will start my arrow like that, and again, then draw my two perpendicular lines and meet it in the middle. So there's another arrow. You can draw an arrow with, I just always use joy because it's a nice short word. So that's another way to demonstrate, to kind of connect this word, especially like this and this, like if you had a list of 5 or 6 things, that would be just a very good way for your eye to go, oh, that connects with that, You can also either do it, so if you, actually that's not a good example. You could draw on, let me decide what I'm going to do here. So, draw the arrow. Okay, see how that one, so that's why it's always good to measure. So my arrow is way off. But you know what? It's going to give a character. It's fine. So would I redo it? No, I wouldn't, because it's just going to be an arrow with character, and that's fine. So, so all your arrows, do not have to be tens. They don't have to be perfect. You know, your arrow could be rounded at the edge. So again, it's better to just draw the body, 2 lines, and that. And then you can always, so draw the body, 2 lines, and then if you can direct the arrow any way you want, you know. Well, that didn't work. That's a call out box. So, all right. Oh, we're gonna get to that, but not right now. So let's finish drawing some arrows. So other interesting arrows you could always draw. These are one of my favorite arrows to draw. All right. And he will make your path straight. There we go. Isn't that a great? You could do, and especially if you had like images that you could put in. You know, I draw those a little small, but you know, if you could always draw little images in those little boxes leading up to the arrow. What else do I want to show you? Do you want to get crazy? Let's get crazy. So, okay, remember our pencil is our friend and we can always erase. So, all right. So here we go. So if I drew, I want to make sure you're seeing me, okay? So I'm going to draw this arrow right there. I'm going to draw that as an arrow. Oh, you can't even see that, but that's okay. So, so I drew it. Maybe I'll do it this way. So can you see? You can see that? Yes. So that's all I did to start, and I did it in pencil on purpose because we have stop and start lines we have to deal with, right? So I'm going to just start, and I'm going to decide this is going to go over, and that's going to go under. So I'm going to stop, and I'm going to draw those lines there, right? And I'm going to come this way. So this is a great tool to use when you have space. Like, oh gosh, I've got some space I need to fill up between things. And so, you know, you just, so I'm going to stop. I'm going to do it again. So I'm going to create the loop, and then I'm just going to continue on. Like that. So there's yours. And so also the other thing I did was shading. So let's talk about shading a little bit. So you could simply, before I get to that shading, let's go back and talk about this shading. And do I have? Well, I don't. I was just thinking, I always like to keep a gray marker with me, but if these 5 seconds I don't have one, so I'm just going to use a pencil. So you can always create shading. You could do it 2 ways. You can create shading with a pencil or a gray marker, you know, to say that this has depth. And I know that's it's a little bit lighter, right? So that just gave it depth. You know, and you could also, ooh, would you like to learn how to turn the page up? You see that a lot. I can show you that really quick. So this gives the impression that this is a piece of paper sitting on a table, and there's like some air and space between it, so it gives it some depth. So, and then the fact that this line stops here says that this arrow is on top of that paper. So that's the stop and start line. Okay, so here's a bonus. Wasn't planning on doing this today, but I will show you very simply. It's so easy. So I want to draw that paper, but I want the little edge to be flipped up. And so again, I'm going to do it in pencil. All right, so I'm just going to like draw my whole square, right? Draw my whole square just like that, okay? But I did it in pencil. So now I'm going to come in and I'm just going to do a triangle like that. Okay, so now I can start inking. So I can come in. So I'm going to do a straight line. I'm going to come in. I'm going to draw a point. I'm going to finish my box. And then I'm going to make it curved. And now that's how we get a flipped up corner. And then when we add some shading to that, now it looks like our paper is sitting on the table. So, all right, just some way to add some depth. So on this arrow, more than likely, you're not going to see you're gonna see it on the inside. So I'm going to just use my pencil. And again, if I had, you know what? Pardon my reach, but I feel like this is my box of Tom Rose. Do we see gray? Ooh, I see dark gray. Let's try purple. Ooh, my purple lid was off. That's not good. All right, so there's my Tom Rose. All right. So, ooh, that's not a happy purple. Oh, that makes me sad. So, but you can kind of see what a marker will do. So it's really subtle, but your eyes can see it. And, ooh, this is not happy at all. Oh, time for new purple. Right? But it's very subtle. So it's not as much in your face, but you can still see that there's depth there. So, all right. Okay, so let's see. Any other videos? Let's see. Let me make sure I'm not missing. All right. Okay. You want to make sure I'm not missing any comments? Yes. All right. What else should we draw? Any other? Oh, let's draw the sign. Let's draw the sign. And show you how, because I mean, you could easily do that. So what I'm going to do with the sign first is I am going to generally create my pole, right? And I'm going to, again, pencil's your friend, right? And then I'm going to start drawing these boxes. So this kind of reminds me of, okay, I grew up with watching MASH. That was what I watched. And remember the pole that they had with everybody's, where they all lived? So that's kind of reminds me. I know you can't see that, so let me ink it in. So, but so the thing is, let me just show you like that. It just helps you get your bearings on where your signs are, and more than likely, you know what? I'm going to fix this because more than likely, what you're going to do in a sketch note situation, like if I was going to do a sketch note situation, I would probably have them all pointed the same way. So this could be point number 1, and this could be point number 2, and this could be point number 3. All right, and then I'm going to draw and I'm going to give it some depth. So that's why I've got my guidelines there. So I'm going to give it some depth. All right, so so I put everything on a pole. So now I'm going to come down and just draw a slight angle downward, and then I'm going to just continue my line down, right, like that. And then I'm going to just, actually, I'm going to use my smaller pen. I'm going to shade that in. All right, and then if you wanted to, so this is the way if you wanted to make it like knotty wood, like, can you see all that? Knotty wood. So you draw, oh, you see that? Okay, so let me do it this way. So I'm just going to draw a big dot, and then I'm going to just start drawing partial lines around, and then that gives the impression of wood grain. So something like that. So you could definitely do that to make it wood grain if you wanted, or you can just leave it blank. All right, just gonna finish that off. Just doing these really quick. Okay, and then the other thing that I love to do is put grass around this, and this simply, we're just little lines, nothing fancy. So that could be such an effective way to take notes, and especially if you had bullet points, that's a great way to do bullet points. Um, or signs are connecting, so you know it's this one, this one, this one, or this one's going to connect to this information. Because maybe if they're not numbered, they could just be faith, hope, and love, and this is the verses on faith and hope and love, and but just this is a way to say this information goes with this, and so on and so forth. Again, it's all there to help your eye get organized and coordinated. So, all right, any questions? Yes, MASH is what came to mind. Yes, exactly. Oh, so I watched MASH when I was growing up, and then I had a son that was like so into MASH. So during his middle school years, I think we have all 10 seasons, and we watched them all again. So they're fresher in my mind. Anyway, any questions on arrows? Do you want to see me draw any kind of different arrow? Anything in particular? Because I want to move on because we are at 26 minutes. Don't mean to be this long, and I still got some stuff to show you. So I'm going to move on unless you have a burning. I really want to know, or you could leave me a comment, and I could maybe, do a quick something, or if there's another arrow that you're really dying to see. So, all right, let's move on. Okay, so there's the arrows. And so tomorrow we're going to do connectors, just a little preview of connectors. So these are sort of arrows, but how else can we bring information together without using an arrow? And here's several ways, and we'll work on that tomorrow, and then we'll also work on boxes tomorrow. All right, so let me find my stuff. There we go. Trying to stay so organized, but paper just makes you be not organized. Okay. Here are the 7 elements of drawing. So I'm going to go quick. Try not to belabor this really, really long. So there we go. 7 elements of drawing. There we go. The line. All right. So draw with me here. Okay. Draw with me. So we have a line. All right. Is there anyone that doesn't think they can do the line? Everybody can do the line, right? Everybody can do a line, right? Circle. Right? Doesn't have to be perfect. Can be lopsided, right? Can be totally lopsided. I just want to make sure you're seeing what I'm seeing, right? Circle. All right. Half circle. Okay. Spiral. All right. Have I stumped anybody so far? No. Everybody got this, right? An S curve or a zigzag. Just put points on it, right? And to me, I guess you could call it, well, that didn't do right, a paisley. So out of all of those elements, you can draw anything. I promise. So it's a matter of looking at an object to go, oh, that's basically a triangle, or that's basically a rectangle. So here we go. So a rectangle. So I'm going to use, what am I going to use? I'm going to use a rectangle. Holler out when you know what it is. All right, there's a rectangle. Let's see. I'm going to use 2 lines. All right, 2 lines. I'm going to use an oval, which is the same thing as a circle. Okay. All right. 2 half circles. All right. Some S curves, another half circle, and we have a horse. Oh, well, we might need a mane. Okay. So we have a horse. Okay. Am I going to win any, oh, thank you. So you know, you get the prize. So am I going to win any prizes for that? No, but it's fine because I'm doing it fast. So there's my other horse. I did. Are we there? Yeah, there we go. so there's my other horse. I actually did really quickly. So, and it looked about as I mean, it was a very quick horse. So, actually, yeah, not a donkey, that's actually a horse. So, so there's an example of actually using a horse. So, but you see, all that was a triangle, two lines, an oval, and some other things. So, all right. Okay, how about this one? I'm doing a half circle. I'm doing a circle. And then a couple other half circles. And we have a frog. All right. Do you think that was a cow, Brenda? Really? Do you think that was a cow? I know I kind of fooled you. Oh, do you want to see a cow? All right, I'll show you a cow. So a cow is a horse without the long neck. All right. So a cow, let me make sure. Starting out with the same square, and I'm just going to put the oval there, right? Okay, and if we wanted to do like, okay, I don't really understand the difference between a steer and a male cow, or like a milk cow. I'm not sure, boys or girls, I don't know. But anyway, so we're going to make this a steer, right? And then, okay, but then I can't really draw the udder. Okay. All right. And I don't think steers have, well, they also have ears. So there's a steer. Okay, well, what about this one? Here's my milk cow. All right. And so we're just going to give them ears. So I'm assuming a milk cow is always going to be female, but I did not grow up on the farm. All right. And then you could draw an udder if you wanted. Okay, but maybe that might be a little, for Sunday school, that might just be a little too much information. So be discerning. But there's a cow. There's cows. All right. So where did my other sheet go? So on page, I'm thinking it's 4 in your workbook, I have this list of things. So I thought maybe we could draw them together. And then you could practice more on your icon. So if you have an icon you're stuck on, you can just let us know. Thank you, Brenda. Yes, a steer. Okay, I'm not going to read that. Okay, thank you. That was maybe more that. Okay, I probably needed to know that information. You're making me laugh, and I'm embarrassed. Okay, so all right. So let's see. Here we are. The sun, really simple. A circle with lines, and again, this is just so that could be morning. So another way I like to draw the sun and clouds. So is to draw the half circle, and then a cloud is simply, so I like to draw, as far as clouds go, well, let me finish this. So now we have the sun behind the cloud. So for drawing clouds, I go half, half, spiral, spiral, half, half, spiral, and then, so basically I'm doing a spiral in 2 half circles, and there's my cloud, right? And then if you're going to make it rain, you're just going to put drops there. All right? So a star, stars are not easy. So I tend to draw a 5-point star and color it in, because trying to draw a 5-point star, oh my gosh, this one actually might look okay. Well, not really. So they're difficult. You could always do something like that, a 4-point star, 6-point star. So however stars work for you. I love to draw, especially when I'm talking about the heavens. And let's just say the verse said heaven. Then I like to draw little dotted lines and put little stars at the bottom. And don't make them all the same length. So that's just a fun way to draw heaven. The moon. So the moon is a half circle. It's basically two half circles that are not exactly the same. So there's a half circle and there's a half circle. You know, and the moon, you could do a whole circle, but for the most part, when we see that, we know that that is the moon. And if you wanted to make it more upright, you could do that, right? You still want to make sure we don't look like a banana. All right, how we doing? All right. House. House is really simple. A house is just, and you can make your house as complicated or as simple as you want. The only thing that I would have to be careful of is, all right, so there's a house, you know, but people, this is what people like to draw. And so don't put a face in your house. So there's our windows and there's our door. And then, all right. So in the interest of being symmetrical, and now we've made a face out of our house. So I tend to not try and make my windows symmetrical. You know, maybe I'll just put, and nothing wrong with, you know, you could have a 2-story house. You know, put windows here, across the top. And then don't forget the bushes. And again, you know, if you kind of plan that out in pencil first. So, you know, maybe a challenge today would be draw your house. Ooh, okay, there's you go. There's your homework for today is to draw your house. All right. And draw your house in less than a minute. Okay. So that means we want to see detail, right? Simple, quick, easy. So there's your homework. Draw your house. And can't wait to see what you guys come up with. All right. Let's see. I'm going to move on. I'm just going to finish this list and we're going to wrap it up since I'm at 40 minutes. Don't mean to be this long. So a tree, I mean, okay, so you can do a tree with limbs, but I just, again, when you're sketchnoting, it's like, I got to get that image down. I got to get it fast. I got to move on, right? So generally a tree, right? We get a tree and then you can put some apples in it if you wanted. So I'm not about drawing the branches. I'm just about a series of half circles, put a trunk in it, kind of make a V at the bottom, and there's a tree. All right, I'm going to move over to another page. Interestingly enough, one of the things I draw most often is the earth. So obviously we're going to start with a circle. All right, now this is the way I draw the earth, although I've seen somebody draw it from the perspective, I mean, depending on where you live, you probably want to emphasize your continent, right? And, you know, Australia probably is easy to draw. South America is easy. Europe could be a little more of a challenge. So, but obviously I draw the view of North America. So I'm going to come down and I'm going to draw the Baja of California. I'm going to come and then I'm going to come over here because I know, and is this geographically correct? No, but do you know it's the earth? Absolutely. So I'm going to come up and I'm going to draw Florida, and I know there's islands, but I don't have time to draw islands, and so I'm just going to draw a little bit there, and then Africa, and boom, I got the earth. So again, you may want to change the perspective to just draw South America or just draw Australia, but you get the point that that's the earth. You know, you are the light of the world, and you know, just I draw the earth a lot. So I mean that's one thing I think that if you still have some spaces left on your icons, you should put it there and learn to draw the earth and just practice it a lot. In fact, I have, oh, I probably should have got this. I got a whole page of earth. So can I find it really quick? I'm gonna give myself 5 seconds. Should have, if not, I will find it tomorrow. I drew it on Earth Day last year. Oh, there it is. There's Earth Day. So there's all my Earths. So there's my regular Earth. I drew it as a heart. I put a mask on it. Oh, there's Africa. Africa might be easy. with a little face, and then I just drew it as a sphere. So from a point of Africa, having people around it, from a globe, sprouting stuff, as a light bulb. This was just my 100-day challenge where I just challenged myself to come up with various ways to draw the earth. So there you can see the core and the earth, and then there's Australia. And then, anyway, so just splitting it up different ways. But anyway, again, but find one view of the earth and just challenge yourself to just draw it 10 times. And then when you use it on Sunday, it's like, oh, yeah, I got this down. So, all right, let's finish our list. Cat, dog, lion. Okay, basically the same thing. Can you draw a triangle and a circle? If you can draw a triangle and a circle, you can draw a cat, dog, and a lion. All right, so we'll start with the cat. Oh, how about I leave room? All right. Triangle. Circle. All right, you know what? I'm not going to draw well, hang on a second. Cat. Dog. I could spell lion. And, oh, what happens if you run into a problem? Like, I'm going to address that in a couple of days when I have a little more time. There are definitely problems. So let's go back to when you do have a typo, how do you fix that? And I will show you some ways. All right, cat. All right, cat has pointed ears. I could stop there and you'd know it was a cat, right? And so they all have that little W, right? And if you wanted to draw a little tongue, you could do that. And then a cat has whiskers. All right, I could keep stopping right here. And then we're going to do the legs. Those are, you could almost think about it as a heart, but since that's not really one of our shapes, I just use half circles. And then their front paws. And you have a cat. All right. So we're going to take the same basic shape. We're going to draw a dog. But, okay, so I am going to use my pencil to draw in the circle, the head. I know you can't see that. But now that gives me a place where I can draw 2 ovals for the ears. And now I can finish the head. And again, I'm going to draw nose. Oh, that looks like a pig. Oh. All right. So obviously, all right. So there's my dog that's got the pig nose. And again, you're just trying to draw the legs and the paws in the front. And you could draw a little tail in the back. And you got a dog. All right, a lion. So can you see where we're going here? So a lion has little rounded ears. Right? And now we're just going to draw a mane. And again, I can stop right there and you know it's a lion. But we're going to continue on and draw the legs. And there we have a lion. So when you start looking at the basic shape of things, then it's like, oh, wow, that's a triangle and a circle. Or that's like an angel is a triangle, a circle, and then we got to draw a little halo. So it's another little tiny circle. So the wings are a series of half. Okay, this one's flying, right? So there's my angel. Triangle, circle, couple of half circles, circle for the halo, a line for the arm, and 2 little half circles for the feet. All right. Well, I am at 44 minutes, so way, way longer than I intended to be. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Just want to say thanks for coming. Do you guys have if there's anything you'd like me to draw, like I'm really stuck on whatever, put it in the comments and, or be here first thing. So back to 10 o'clock tomorrow, right? Back to 10 o'clock for the rest of the time. So again, we're going to meet, tomorrow is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday, I will show you a new format that you might want to try on Sunday. And then Monday, we're going to wrap it up. And then I can't wait to see all your sermon sketch notes. from here on out. So if you have any questions, be sure and post them. Or anything I can help you draw, let me know. So thanks for being here. I appreciate. Ooh, see, there's my alarm. Time for me to go. Anyway, see, back to me. All right, I forget to turn it back to me. So anyway, so again, thanks so much for being here. Let me know if you have any questions. You guys rock, and I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow at 10 o'clock.